of Carlisle, Iowa. We like to say our community has a lot of character and our community has a lot of characters. So we're a small community, so the relationships are big. We're in part of a larger metro area, the Des Moines region, and we're a small community in the southeast corner of that metropolitan area that has kind of a diverse environmental background. Our logo is Carlisle, the natural choice, so we're kind of trying to live up to that. We have a family in town that is very interested in conservation. They're restoring prairie. We have wetlands that we're trying to preserve and create. And it's led to a lot of very interesting things in our community over the past 10 years. My community, for one, has a lot of folks that we want to keep in the community, but as neighborhoods go, we're finding that we're beginning to lack the availability of folks to downsize and as seniors or retired and stay in our community. So we're trying to work on that. My senior folks are some of my biggest users of our trail that runs into our community. We're extending that trail, we're making a nature park. I think offering those kind of amenities that are educational and recreational, as well as the connectivity, the sidewalks, maybe the help that communities can offer for housing opportunities. We're having a lot of discussion right now to get that kind of going in our community, so I hope we have success with that. We like to think that as we enhance our community, businesses will find it an attractive place to come, plus that will draw people for the workforce. If you watch growing, thriving communities, there's always that vibrancy and quality of life that fosters the business, and the businesses then foster that back for the citizens. Smart growth to me is protecting your community's future, things that protect the taxpayer's buck and protect the taxpayer's properties and protect their choices. Sometimes I think people have a concept of it kind of backwards, that it's going to limit or it's going to reduce your property rights, and I've heard that story come from people. I think it's the opposite. It's the day-to-day kind of planning, the forward thinking, that you can make projects more sustainable, make sure you think of the whole life of a project, you think of the whole life of your community. I like to make my judgments on what's payback investment, what's going to pay back to the taxpayer, if it's 10, 20 years from now. Are we going to get the bang for the buck for what we're doing, or are we going to offset or maintain control? I think some of that comes from partnerships with other communities. We're in the middle of a lot of regional planning. I think it's going to be the benefit to all of us. I'm also part of a couple subcommittees that are working on flood mitigation. Perfect example that you have to work together on some things or it's not going to happen. You know, the guy at the top affects the guy at the bottom, and unless the whole watershed is involved with some of the implementation of what needs to be done, it's not going to happen. The guy at the bottom, which would be me in Carlisle, Iowa, can't do it by ourselves. We get the brunt of it, but yet we pay some of the bucks. But everybody in the watershed's affected, from the soil to the natural resources to the water treatment to the stormwater that we deal with. For instance, that's just one example of how cooperation can really be effective. I think education and awareness is part of developing a community and part of smart planning. Because I think what smart planning isn't is overregulation, expensive mandates coming down from on top. Use your citizens, keep it local, let them set the vision for your community.